From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday urged Filipinos to emulate the bravery, integrity, and resilience of the heroes and heroines who defended Bataan during World War II to overcome present challenges confronting the nation. In his speech during the commemoration of the 82nd anniversary of the Day of Valor on Mount Samat in Pilar, Bataan Province, President Marcos said that while Filipinos fought for freedom and democracy more than 80 years ago, the country now lives in a completely different age. The President said the present challenges are in no way less grave, with offensive forces continuing to threaten the nation outside and within, endangering the country's hard-fought gains. The Day of Valor, or Araw ng Kagitingan, commemorates the heroism and sacrifice of Filipinos during World War II. Let's listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
We gather here today in annual remembrance of the series of events of 1942, which all of us Filipinos hold dearly to our hearts. It is of high importance to us, compelled not by mere law or presidential issuance, but by sheer heritage, by our shared history, by the proud example of our compatriots whom we revere as our real heroes. Indeed, this occasion should not be seen as a tiresome recollection of a horrendous loss recorded in our history, nor just as a yearly exercise in remembrance of a terrible time in our history. As the Day of Valor, it is a fitting tribute to our Filipino soldiers from all over the country who bravely fought in World War II side by side with our allies. Most especially to the more than 60,000 of them who were pummeled and forced into submission during the fall of Bataan. And their fate did not end in that surrender on home soil. Those who were spared from execution had to endure the equally difficult and horrendous death march, the prison camps that awaited them, and those who survived this excruciating journey on foot, described by historians as a tragic nightmare without form, reason, or mercy. The death march was yet another extreme test of the will, both physically and mentally, of every Filipino. Our fighters went on for days in the sweltering summer heat with no food, no medicine, under terrible malarial conditions. Their severely weakened bodies, further wilted by depression, were forcibly mobilized by threats of beatings and possible execution. We will forever be in debt to our heroes, those who perished, and the survivors who stared death in the eye and lived to tell the tale, some of whom are with us here today. For them, the higher and nobler cause made their supreme sacrifice worth enduring. And on a much deeper level, the fall of Bataan is not just a past event that we commemorate. It serves as a constant reminder of our singular purpose towards the future as one nation, supported by like-minded allies in this post-war, rules-based international order. As recounted, the retreat to Bataan was a strategic defense in depth. The plan was to hold out for as long as possible until external support arrived. Bataan was a crucial last bastion. Mount Samat functioned as its veritable watchtower. Bataan, as well as Corregidor, Caballo, El Fraile, and Carabao Islands all proved to be strategic sites in the defense of our archipelago. We have been blessed not only with persevering and valorous people. Our own natural resources furnished us with both sustenance and the means for our own self-defense. And as fate would have it, the battle that was initially lost, the war would eventually be won. In that stunning reversal, the fall of Bataan thus marked the resurgence of the genuinely independent and sovereign Philippines. 82 years on, our nation remains confronted with novel challenges in varying forms and degrees, but with the same existential impact. Some portend clear and present threats to our sovereign rights and in fact have already caused physical harm to our people. Ang mga ito ay hindi katanggap-tanggap, hindi makatwiran o makatarungan, lalo na sa panahong ito ng payapang pakikipag-ugnayan ng mga bansa. Naway magsilbing inspirasyon ng mga kaganapan noong 1942 at ang tagumpay natin noong 1945 sa ating lahat. Gayon din sa ating kabataan at sa mga ating susunod na salinlahi. Tulad ng pinamalas ng ating mga dakilang ninuno, hindi tayo dapat magpasupil at magpaapi, lalo na sa loob ng ating sariling bakuran. Naway, mapagkunan natin ito ng pang-ibayong kamalayan, tapang at lakas ng loob. Higit sa lahat, naway patuloy nitong pagtibayin ang ating pagkakaisa at ang ating pagiging makabansa. We must leverage these lessons if we are to safeguard the future of our republic. The sacrifices of our heroes must galvanize us and strengthen our national consciousness, our patriotic spirit. The present-day armed forces continue this noble duty of safeguarding our nation's security and our sovereignty. And in recognition of their bravery and sacrifices, I am directing the Defense, Budget, and Finance departments to study the existing separation benefits of soldiers who incurred total permanent disability in the line of duty, to see if these are commensurate to the sacrifices that they have made, and submit the recommendation while taking stock of the national government's position. We are doubling our efforts. To enhance their operational capability. We must therefore also ensure their safety by procuring the right equipment. I therefore task the TND and AFP to assess and submit a report on the responsiveness of the current inventory of military supplies and equipment. These measures aim to show our unwavering support to our soldiers as they face new and growing challenges. Ours is a complicated world today, but we must not yield. We must not back down from any and all challenges that seek to threaten our peace, our honor, our very existence. This shrine and all the nameless Filipino war heroes that it represents beckon to us. May we all be inspired by their unbreakable will, unflappable courage, and undying patriotism. The spirit that made Bataan stand cannot and must never fail. Mabuhay ang mga alaala ng ating mga bayaning Pilipino. Mabuhay ang ating mga veterano. Mabuhay ang sambayanang Pilipino.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday assured that the government is accelerating its system to finish its energy infrastructure project earlier. In a media interview with reporters, the president explained that several programs of the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, or NGCP, have long been overdue. President Marcos said this is the reason why the government is fast-tracking the projects to keep up with the demand in energy and to further promote development in the country. The chief executive said the national government will do its part by releasing permits needed earlier. President Marcos Jr. underscored the administration's intention to use excess energy from other areas and divert it to other places through the use of a consolidated transmission system.
There is a surplus kasi maraming solar, pero hindi na ilalabas lahat na it's stranded power. So, yun, mailalabas na natin not only if you look at the map, ang linya goes from Panay Island across Negros, tapos submarine cable hanggang Cebu. So, ibig sabihin that the transmission for that whole area that transmission line will service is now aligned together. Maraming cooperative, maraming iba't ibang power producers. Lahat ngayon yan will be consolidated into this network around the transmission network that NJCP has just put up. I think transmission, kaya ganito yung ginagawa namin, minamadali talaga namin, trying to do it as quickly as possible because marami sa program ng NJCP natulog na matagal. So we're doing everything that we can on the government side also na para matapos na yung mga proyektong yun. Some of them are many years behind schedule already. So we have to play our part also yun na nga yung sinabi ko, yung mga permitting, yung mga ECC, yung mga permits ng ERC, etc. Pati pricing and all of these things, we try to do it much more quickly. Before, it's been taking 2 to 3 years. It should take much less than that. So we're streamlining the system.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday assured that he will sign the Negros Island Region or NIR Act, which aims to unify the provinces of Negros Occidental, Negros Oriental, and Siquijor into one administrative region. In an interview with reporters, the president said, "It is hard for Oriental to receive services from the regional center." The chief executive added that this has been a problem for the region for a long time and the government needs to simplify the provision of its services to residents in the area. To recall, the proposed law aims to contribute to the ease of doing business in the region by strengthening the reach of its residents. This will this will also instill confidence to investors by strengthening and efficient government transactions in the region.
I think it makes sense because it's very difficult for Oriental to be serviced in the regional centers. So kailangan talaga maayos yan. Matagal ng problema yan. Until we can consolidate, I can put it all together properly, and right now hindi pa ganun. It's very hard to bring government services to the people, and that's the reason behind the regional, the push for making it a single region, so that may regional office na sarili. And it's probably a good idea, even if only for that.
So you will sign it?
Yeah, I think I will sign it.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday seized the need to declare a national state of calamity due to the El Niño phenomenon currently being experienced in the country. In a media interview, the president explained that even though all regions in the country is experiencing drought, there are different levels of damage or effects left by El Niño in each area in the Philippines. This means, President Marcos added, the government doesn't necessarily will implement the same response since not all are critically damaged by El Niño. The chief executive assured that the national government is implementing various steps relevant to the needs of each region.
Totohanan yan, lahat maapektuhan. Ngayon, gaano kalala ang magiging effect ng El Nino? It's really ang mga probinsya sa western side na tinatamaan, Western Luzon, tapos dito, Region 6. Those are the areas na nagde-declare ng calamity. But the other areas, although ramdam pa rin, hindi naman critical. As a matter of fact, kasi naglagay nga tayo ng mga dam, patuloy ang ating inaayos ang ating irigasyon. We are trying to find new techniques of planting. We are harvesting more palay now than we did last year. That's despite the El Nino. So it's taking effect. So those areas na talagang hindi talaga maabot ng patubig. Those are the areas that we look at. But we look at them by area. Hindi to iba-iba ang problema sa bawat lugar eh. Hindi naman pwedeng shotgun lang one size fits all, no? It hasn't. So we look at each area and see what it is that they need. So that's what we are. That's the way we are handling that local states of calamity that the local governments are declaring.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday made sure that all proceedings will be fair for Pastor Apollo Quiboloy and former Congressman Arnie Teves, who are both facing different cases in the country. In an ambush interview with reporters in Bacolod City, the president said the government will exercise compassion to Pastor Quiboloy, whom he has known for a long time. President Marcos is wondering why Quiboloy is the one giving the conditions to the government to the cases the pastor is facing. This is the chief executive's reaction following the request of Pastor Quiboloy that the president should guarantee that the United States will not interfere with his legal battle before he faces trial in the country. Meanwhile, President Marcos said Teves should not worry in returning to the country since there is no threat to his life.
It seems to me a little bit tail wagging the dog, ang tawag, na siyang magbibigay ng kondisyon sa gobyerno doon sa kaso niya, akusado siya sa warrant of arrest. So, I mean, we will exercise all the compassion to Pastor Quiboloy. We've known him for a very long time, and ang mapapangako ko, all the proceedings will be fair. Now, as to the involvement of the United States, malayo pa yan eh. That's going to take years yet. So I don't think that's something he needs to worry about, quite frankly.
How about sa pagbalik ni...
How about
sa pagbalik ni Congressman Teves?
Oh.
Ano ang mapapangako ng gobyerno sa kanya?
The same thing. Wala naman kami sa lahat ng mga sinasabi ni Arnie Teves na takot siya sa buhay niya. Wala kaming report na gano'n. Walang nagbabanta sa buhay niya.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday said his administration is doing everything to de-escalate tensions with China in the West Philippine Sea, or WPS. In an ambush interview with reporters, the president said the Philippines does not want to escalate the situation and would like to talk properly. Relations between Manila and Beijing have deteriorated under the Marcos administration as President Marcos improves ties with the United States and pushes back against China's attack against Filipino troops. Meanwhile, the chief executive hopes that the joint exercises between the Philippines, United States, Australia, and Japan ease the tension in the disputed waters.
cruises that we are doing, something I've been planned for a long time. It has the interim reports that I'm getting is that very useful talaga in terms of the interoperability, so that each navy knows how the other navy operates. Number one, and secondly, that they learn how to operate together. Maganda naman daw ang takbo. And that's the usual reaction from the PLA. Maglalabas din sila ng kanilang barko. So it's almost normal already for us, unfortunately.
Activity, may iwasan na natin incidents aggregated by China?
I sincerely hope so. I really do. I really do. But again, so we are trying everything. We still continue to talk at a ministerial level, at a sub-ministerial level, at a people-to-people level. Lahat ng maaari natin gawin, ginagawa natin para kausap ang Chinese leadership, ang Beijing, makausap sila na wag na natin masyadong papainitin pa. Pag-usap tayo na mabuti para walang banggaan, walang canon, walang water cannon. Hindi na mabalik sa ganun.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the Salaknib 2024 military exercise between the Philippine Army and the United States Army Pacific, or USARPAC, formally opened on Monday at Fort Magsaysay in Nueva Ecija Province. According to Philippine Army Public Affairs Office Chief Colonel Louis De Maala, the Salaknib Phase 1 that will end on April 21st will be participated by 3,000 Filipino and American soldiers. Among these are 1,800 members of the 5th and 7th Infantry Divisions of the Philippine Army and Specialty Enabler Units, and 1,700 soldiers from the 3rd Infantry Brigade Combat Team of the 25th Infantry Division of the USARPAC. The exercise aims to strengthen interoperability between both forces by coordinating in various military operations. Phase 2 of the exercise is scheduled to be held on the third quarter this year.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the Philippine Embassy in Lebanon called on Filipinos working and living in the country to be careful and avoid going to crowded places due to the recent airstrike that destroyed the Iranian consulate near the Syrian border. This came after an unidentified aircraft bombed the consulate in Damascus that resulted in the death of 7 Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps members, including 2 top military commanders. According to the embassy, the incident could possibly escalate tensions. That's why they advised overseas Filipinos to exercise caution. Meanwhile, the United States is currently under high alert due to the possibility of attacks from Iran to Israel and even American assets in the country.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, we would like to invite everyone to come and visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.